Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're doing the upgrade guide for the Mardu Surge deck. So for this one, I aim towards what I found interesting in the precon, which was Myriad. We'll still create a bunch of tokens and 1/1 critters, but Myriad I think is just very, very fun with this. There is going to be an insane amount of card draw going around for you with this as well. It's very, very combat focused heavy and very, very aggro. For our commander of choice, I've chosen Zurgo because I think that Zurgo kind of suits us better. He offers either great card draw, depending on when exactly these creature tokens leave the battlefield, or just kind of draining people out as well. Now, it's important that the token just has to leave the battlefield. It doesn't matter if they are exiled, it doesn't matter if they, sacrifice themselves or if you sacrifice them yourself. Wildcard draw is great. Getting the drain life is really good too. So either of these two options I think is good. And we can sacrifice tokens when needed to get what we want. So an important piece of notage here, though, before we get into it too far, creatures remain as attacking until after the end of combat step. So when the myriad tokens are, exiled at the end of combat, they are still technically classified as attacking. So you will get card draw from them, not the damage ping. However, card draw is still really great. Also, the tokens that enter attacking do not get the attack triggers, as they're never declared as attacking. So if they have when this creature attacks, that does not classify as, you then attacking with it and getting that trigger. You will get it for the initial one, but not any kind of, ones that come out of Myriad or anything. But they do trigger ETBs, which is very, very important for a few things. So if you guys are wanting to pick up some of these, make sure you head on over to TCG Player and pick up the cheapest card around. And you'll also support the channel, and I'll put the link down to that in the comments. So some additions here. First up, we've got Ishin and Caesar, both amazing for any, deck that's going to be based around attacking combat in Mardu. Yeah, there's actually a new version of Ishin in the upcoming set as well. That's a one of the new sieges, so it's an enchantment instead of a creature. I think that grabbing Ishin is good, and then you could potentially grab this extra enchantment to just have that as well in the deck. Yeah, I think that Ishin's just a great addition here. And then Caesar gives you the option of, sacrificing something, and then creating more creature tokens, or just dealing a huge amount of damage to people, or getting card draw. You probably won't need the card draw. It's probably these other two that you're going to be doing most of the time. But overall, Caesar's just really, really great in this deck. We've got Mirkwood Bat. We're creating 1 million tokens. Why don't we just make people drain life from them? I think that, if Mirkwood Bat was not a Lord of the Rings card, it would easily have been reprinted in here. We've got the Master Multiplied. So we're creating a whole bunch of Myriad tokens. We're creating a whole bunch of tokens that potentially need to be sacrificed, which is great and works really, really well for our commander here, for Zurgo. However, what if instead they stuck around for longer? And then we can also give Myriad to some of our bigger creatures, like, what if we give Myriad to Ishin, and then those Ishin clones stick around as well? Yeah, Master Multiplied actually makes this deck absolutely bonkers with Myriad. It's going to be absolutely crazy. And then because we've got other ways to be able to sacrifice creatures anyway, we can still get our triggers off of Zurgo, and then we can make use of it better as well, because we can, sacrifice things in our, outside of our combat, so that way we can get the actual damage triggers too if we want to. We've got Impact Tremors and General Creep. So I've got both of these in here because they are Impact Tremors abilities. General Creep is like Impact Tremors stacked onto a goblin that then creates more goblins, which is good. And then Impact Tremors is just Impact Tremors. Keep in mind that, there's War Leader's Call as well that you can chuck into here if you want to put that instead of Impact Tremors. I do like the ability of, keeping them as 1/1, so that way you can use the Skull Clamp onto things. But War Leader's Call just buffs them up as well. So then, they just deal more damage. Like they get +1/+1 too. So either way, they kind of work. I'd probably add in like just 2, 3 maybe Impact Tremors-y style things. We've got Goblin Bombardment and Ashnod's Altar. As I said about having alternate ways to be able to sacrifice our creatures, both of these are great alternate ways. Do you want more damage from your creatures? Boom, just sack them with a Goblin Bombardment. Do you want more mana? Boom, use Ashnod's Altar and get a whole bunch of mana with them. Either of them works really well. Ashnod's is not going to work so well against our Myriad creatures unless you have like a combat trick or something you can cast in combat that's going to make use of it. But, Goblin Bombardment's going to just be able to deal more damage to things. We've got Alicia, who laughs at Faith and Pitiless Plunderer. As I said about before, we're going to have a whole bunch of creatures out. People are going to board wipe us. Things are going to die. Or we're going to sacrifice stuff as well. So we have the option with Alicia to be able to selectively reanimate something. If we get kind of board wiped, we can chuck her out there, kind of start rebuilding from there. Pitiless Plunderer is just going to get a huge amount of treasures out here. It's just going to be absolutely bonkers with him. We've got Adam Pakal and Adam Pakal Thousandth Moon. So an extra attacks trigger to create a whole bunch of extra gnomes and stuff. That's pretty obvious this way here. Port Razor's really great with Myriad. Actually goes infinite in the deck as well, which I'll talk about in a minute, because that's why this deck's kind of, gone from a pre-con up to like this tier 3 kind of thing, our bracket 3 deck, because Port Razor's just going to be absolutely crazy in this deck. We've got Duke Alder Ravenguard. Give a creature haste and myriad. Just fantastic. Battle Angels of Tyr is an amazing myriad creature, because it's going to have the option of, potentially drawing you a card, creating your treasure, and gaining you life, depending on who you hit. Potentially multiple versions of those, or more treasures, or because you're going to hit, 3 people with it, you could potentially be able to create 2 treasures from over here, and then, draw more 2 cards from here, and then gain some life here and stuff. Like, there is just a huge amount of stuff you're going to be making use of here. Not likely the life gain, because of the fact that we're just such a great aggro deck that it's very likely we have more health than they do, because we're just burning them down. But still, right, like, you're still going to get card draw, you're still going to get treasures. It's great. We've got Orthian, Hero of Lambrick, and Jaxus, the Troublemaker. Creating more tokens. I think creating more tokens is great in this deck. And now we can create tokens of some of our either legendaries, or and then they instantly kind of get, die, or we could make tokens of things that are actually going to stick around, and then they do get sacrificed at the end step. So, you could create tokens of Battle Angels of Tyr. I'm not going to complain about that. Or why don't you just create 5 tokens of Battle Angels of Tyr, throw them at everyone. You've got 5 creatures attacking each person, plus the initial one. So that's 6 Battle Angels of Tyr attacking everyone. It'll get out of hand very quickly. And then Jaxus is very similar, discard a card to do that. It's great. Like, I just think, I love this kind of aspect of it, as opposed to just flooding the board with 1/1s, just the myriad and cloning kind of stuff. And then, if you've got your Master Multiplied out, you don't even need to sacrifice these. It's great. We've got Blasphemous Edict. I did add a better board wipe in here, I think, because, we're going to have a whole bunch of 1/1s out, so we don't mind sacrificing them. This is going to bypass, people with Indestructible and stuff. It's going to potentially be a board wipe for 1 as well, because we've got a huge amount of creatures out there. If we need to rebuild, we can rebuild. And, we could potentially wipe out everyone else's stuff. We've got, a whole bunch of 1/1s that have slowly piled up over here. We just sack a whole bunch of those, and maybe we need to sacrifice 1 or 2 non-things. Meanwhile, everyone else is just board wiped, and we're kind of, in the position to just go and swing and win. All right, so as for the cuts, the things that I mostly cut were, some of the slower cards that I did, like, the Mere Battlesphere. Legion Loyalty, I'm not huge on. I think that it's just a little bit too slow, as opposed to just, going aggro in. There's some of the one-off token generators here, like, Release the Dogs, that just create tokens once. Divine Visitation, I would rather, as I said, kind of lean into the myriad kind of stuff. And if I need to replace those really great tokens with the 4/4 angels, I would, there's some of these tokens that I'm making here that I'd rather keep than, just making angels. And I just think it's a little bit slow. We also just kind of cut some of the weaker mana rocks here as well. Maybe people disagree with some of these cuts, but overall, I just wanted to kind of speed the deck up and kind of focus, as I said, more on that myriad and the kind of little bit of cloning kind of stuff in there. All right, and as I said about an infinite before, we've got Duke Alder Ravenguard here and the Port Razor as an infinite. So at the beginning of combat, the Duke triggers, giving the Port Razor haste and myriad. You swing in to attack. You're going to create a token copy of Port Razor. All you need to do is deal combat damage to 1 person. 1 person. Then they're all going to untap. Then, yeah, you get to do it again and again, and you just get to keep swinging in and hitting people, infinite combat phases, infinite combat damage, infinite ETBs, infinite LTBs and stuff. As long as you can keep dealing damage to people with one of the port raises each time, you're going to be able to just do a great amount of damage and be able to kind of just slowly whittle everyone down. It's going to be great. So as for some more expensive additions, so token doublers for sure. Easily token doublers are going to be amazing here. I'm not even going to focus on them too much. Breath of Fury enables even more infinites thanks to the Thanks to the myriad. No, thanks to the token generation. Breath of Fury just creates a huge amount of infinites with that. You've got Terror of the Peaks for a bigger impact effect as well, because of the fact that it just deals damage equal to their power, I think it is, to each person. We've got the Helm of the Host is another great token and clone generator, as well as the fact that I think that goes infinite as well with the Port Razor from memory, or it goes infinite with something else in the deck for sure. We've got Commissar Seraphina Rain is absolutely bonkers in the deck. An additional sacrifice, additional dealing damage to people as well when you attack and stuff. And then as for game changes, Jeska's Will is great here. Trouble in Pairs is great. Smothering Tide is great. We don't really need, I don't think, like, if I was actually choosing 3, I'd probably choose Jeska's. I think I'd choose Winota, because I think Winota is going to be great here, because we're going to have a lot of non-human creatures, because we're creating, some goblins here. We're creating, some clone stuff over here. We've got Zurgo attacking, etc. We could just really kind of go ham with that. And get, a huge amount of stuff kind of going from that. You could also use some kind of and then for my third there with Jeska's Winota, I would use Smothering Tithe. And then you could also use Demonic or Vampiric Tutor as well if you wanted to kind of get something and put it straight onto the top of your deck. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.